Today I'll just talk about how I actually got into running and what are the challenges that I faced initially, how I got interested eventually, what are the things that I've learned from running for the past few years right now. So I'll just start the story back to 2019 when I had an accident and I had to take bed rest for about a year, close to a year. I had a very severe injuries in my body, so I had to make sure that I have a complete rest. And generally, when you have cases like this, you end up gaining a lot of weight, which even I did, and I ended up having a lot of weight. Then, by the time I was properly recovered, it was close to December 2019 and 2020. Then, as everyone know, in March we encountered pandemic. We had lockdowns and everything. Even when pandemic happened, first few months, even I was into this making Dalgona coffee, all the other favorite foods of mine, and eating and just binge watching and everything. But then in somewhere around July 2020, I started slowly working out. I started with somewhere around 20-30 minutes workout. It is something like HIT, or uh, uh, doing body weight workouts like squats, or doing some dance, something like that. Then slowly, when the lockdown was lifted, I started going out for walks. Of course, slow at that point of time, slowly I started seeing changes in my body. I've seen slowly my fat percentage going down, me going down weight. So that intrigued me to get better at this. So somewhere I was reading that running is generally gonna help you so much in having a very good body, fit body. Then in November 2020 was when I started running. Initially, to run even 1-2 kilometers was a very hard task for me because I used to struggle very badly to run that. But then, slowly from 2 I went to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and as a result, when I started going higher in kilometers of running, I've realized, okay, there's more into this because there's a lot of nutritional aspect that you has to be taken care of, because in running very long distances, it is very important to understand the kind of food that you're having, the protein intake, the carbohydrate intake, the fat intake, and especially when you're into running, all these three nutrients actually matter a lot when compared to any other sport you're into. Let's say for protein, in terms of protein, and in bodybuilding, protein is one such thing which matters a lot because you have to grow your muscles in size, and protein actually helps that compared to all the other nutrients that you take in. But when it comes to running, protein actually helps you in recovering of muscles. That's one. And second, while you go run, the first few kilometers, your carbs that you load and keeps helping you it. Then later, after certain kilometers, your fats turn into your fuel of the body, and this keeps you go along. Along with that, even if you don't really have carbs and fats to enough, you cannot really sustain throughout the day because it gets really hard if you only sustain on protein, and that's not a very healthy lifestyle that you should be living. And then, slowly I've got into like 10 kilometers, understanding the kind of nutrition that I have to take and understanding the kind of food that the body requires according to the workouts that I was doing, and according to uh, goals that I had, that I have to go up to like 15 kilometers, 21 kilometers, 30, 42. So it made me forced to research a lot of good things, good healthy ways of actually doing this. And then I also understood that I have to take care of my form, uh, because how do I run properly, what are the kind of shoes I have to take care of. Then how much of sleep I should be getting. Do I have to do any sort of leg workouts to strengthen my legs to help me make my runs much better? That's one thing. Then do I have and after a certain point I started having mobility issues. I started having foot ankle pains. Sometimes I used to have knee pains because of long runs. So I started understanding the um, the importance of mobility workouts. So then I started working on my knee mobility, my ankle and foot mobility, so that it made my run better. So what I'm trying to say is that when I actually got into running, I was not really. It was purely to make sure that I lose a lot of weight, a lot of sort of fat, just to make myself, shrink in size. But then, when I started doing it on a regular basis, I understood that this is something which I want to do on a very regular basis, because I enjoyed doing it. I had a very mental peace when I was doing it. Even then, so somewhere I in this conscious way that I understood that somewhere I was actually very much excited doing it on a daily basis. Then I started encouraging a lot of my friends to do it. They started doing it slowly. They found it interesting. Then they started researching about how they could get better. They used to ask me, they used to help them out, and all these sort of things. So while there are certain key takeaways that I would share with you guys, which I have learned, that is, one, you have to be very consistent while you are into running or any other endurance sports in specific, because if you're not consistently training yourself or you're not consistently making yourself better, you cannot really become a very good endurance sport, irrespective of how great genetics you are. If you're not consistently working, it gets really hard for you to get better at that sport. That is one. You have to be very consistent with your food. You have to be very consistent with your workouts. You have to be very consistent with your recovery. You might not take those expensive recoveries. The best recovery, for according to me, and the free one, is to sleep properly, have a very good quality sleep. You find your body having a very good recovery. Okay, it doesn't really mean you have to go take expensive recovery therapies to get your body better. That's all not really required. And next is that you have to be very disciplined enough, because because when you're into endurance sport, you have to really take care of your body if you want to really get better at it. Because if you keep partying, once in a while, like 2 3 days a week, or multiple times a month, if you keep drinking, or you smoke, or you eat a lot of junk, not sleeping properly, not consistently getting better at the kind of sport you're into, then it gets very hard for your body to adapt to the kind of sport you want to get into. You have to eliminate certain things to make sure that you actually get better at it. Which, of course, initially, getting disciplined or getting consistent you might find it very hard to do it. But then as you go ahead, definitely, once you start enjoying it initially, you might face challenges, but at the end you will definitely see the results, both physically and mentally, for sure. And these are the two main things I've learned from this, that which I could apply at any part of my life later. That if you want to really achieve certain things, even if you enjoy doing it, if you're not consistent in it, if you're not disciplined in it, if you're not doing good enough research about how you get better at it, you cannot actually grow in that particular thing. It could be in your personal life or a professional life. And once we understand this thing, we're gonna just go have a very exponential curve in our life, and we're gonna get better as we go ahead in life. And thanks for watching this video. Do like, subscribe and share with your friends.